If America would follow the ways of God, then the blessings of God that came on Israel would come upon America. What blessings? Peace, prosperity, security, power. So America would become the most blessed, most prosperous, most powerful nation the world had ever seen. So the foundation of the house of America is without question dedicated to God, dedicated to Messiah for God's purposes. That's what made it unique. Not the land, not the economy, not anything else, but this. And even when as America was secularized, still this affects America. Even up to modern times. Why does America have this sense of the sacredness of the individual? Because every individual is made in the image of God. From that you get equality. From that you get the freedom of conscience, that it doesn't matter what the government says, you are first made in the image of God. And that no government is above God. That's why when totalitarian ideologies rose in the world like fascism and Nazism and communism, America was the key defense from stopping it from covering the entire world. You can see it throughout, and even the sense that America has had that we have a mission to the world. Where did that come from? That came from this. It got secularized, but it's from here. A light to the world in some way. You see this long after the Puritans in the words of George Washington, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln. You even see it in America, the words of America presidents in the 20th century. John Kennedy spoke of America as a city on a hill. Ronald Reagan spoke of it again and again. It was America's spiritual foundation that led it to become a refuge for much of the world. We're here, most of us are here because our forefathers and mothers were fleeing something or looking for something. It became the foremost champion of freedom around the world. The words and vision of John Winthrop were prophetic. He said, in effect, from the Bible, if America would follow the ways of God, then the blessings of God that came on Israel would come upon America. What blessings? Peace, prosperity, security, power. So America would become the most blessed, most prosperous, most powerful nation the world had ever seen. It was all there in the words of John Winthrop prophetically in Massachusetts Bay. Now, people quote from John Winthrop the vision of the city on the hill, but they rarely quote what else he said right after that. He said this. It was a prophetic warning. Also based on Moses' words in Deuteronomy 28. He said, But if we turn away from God, if we deal falsely with him, if we go after other gods, the gods of our prophets, like money, our pleasures, then in effect, he said, the judgments that came on ancient Israel would come upon America. Now, interesting, and I'm going to speak more about this in a few moments, but the harbinger is basically, when I was led to write that book, is seeing the same patterns, the judgments of Israel with America. But it's a prophetic warning that he gave embedded in the foundation of the nation. So what happened to ancient Israel? God blessed it, but in the midst of its blessings, it turned from God. It began subtly at first, then increasingly brazenly. It drove God out of its public squares, drove God out of its culture, drove God out of its lives. It promoted sexual immorality. What was evil, it now called good. What was good, it now called evil. It offered up its own children as sacrifices to the gods, and then began persecuting the righteous who still upheld the word of God. What happened to America? The same thing. We have followed the footsteps of ancient Israel in its fall. At the height of blessing, in the 20th century, we turned away from God. Slowly and subtly at first, and it's not that it's just one moment, but there are key landmarks, like removing prayer from the schools. That was once a big thing. Now it's hard for us to even imagine that teachers would lead the children in prayers to God. But then it was radical to do what they did. We drove God out of our, first subtly, then it became, now it's manifesting full force. We drove God out of our public squares, out of our government, out of our schools, out of our life, out of our culture. We embraced and promoted sexual immorality, just as Israel did. What is of sin, we called good. What is of God, we have called evil. We have killed not thousands of children, we have killed 60 million children in abortion. We now see signs of the persecution of the righteous coming, canceling, boycotting, castigating, prosecuting. You can see it becoming evident in the 1960s, but it has not stopped. It has advanced. Even with conservative presidents, the culture has continued. It's like a ball on top of a hill that starts rolling very slowly and then gets more and more momentum, so it's racing, and that's where we are now. America's racing. Things that would have shocked us years ago, cause a flood of outrage and uproar, now barely get any notice. It's as if now America is at war with America, at least what America was. And the nation that's called by the name America is not the same nation that most of us, or many of us, were born into. Hi, I'm Jonathan Cahn, and I hope you were blessed with the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Feel free to share your reactions with your comments and how you were blessed, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.